The only Saryn build you will ever need. It seems very, very niche to say this, but Warframe has never been easier. After a couple clips, I will explain all the abilities, the weapons we use, our companion, explaining why we use what we use, and do my absolute best to not waste your time. No 20-minute video repeating the same thing 30 times just for it to be an influence build. Also, as a quick shameless plug, I do stream pretty much every day around 1 p.m. EST. We do have a Discord as well, with over 1,100 members who are all ready and willing to help you where they can. The link will be in the description, as well as my Twitch. I hope y'all seen that too. That shit look good. Alright, so real quick, I'm going to explain to you why we use the Ocucor, why we don't use the Sobek, and why we use the Praedos. But first, we'll start with Saryn's kit. Firstly, we have the one. We use this for Venom Dose. We do not use it for Spores. There's no point in Spores. Spores is but, bro, I'm going to be honest with you. We got Molt. This is our shield gate in the event that we need to shield gate, so we do not die at level cap. Toxic Lash, here's our bread and butter. This gives us the toxin DOTs that we need that kill level cap enemies. We use Roar because it's multiplicative on DOTs. It's the same as a faction mod. On the build, we actually run Venom Dose. This is for our one. We run Catalyzing Shields because of the bug, where even if you gain one shield, you will still get the full shield gate. Prime Flow, so we have more energy. Equilibrium for more energy. Brief Respite, so that we can shield gate, so that our 2 gives us a lot more for a full shield gate. Ice Spring, because we want to move fast, we're not being slow. Come on, lock in. Then we have Prime Continuity. This is for longer duration, because we don't want to be spam casting. Then we have Narrow Minded, same thing. We do not need range on this build. This is just for more duration, so we don't have to spam. Umbral Intensify, we run this for more ability strength, to make all our abilities more powerful and potent. And this is the same for Blind Rage. Then we have Arcane Velocity. We run this so that we get the 120% fire rate to our Ocucor and Precision. This would technically be a conditional if you didn't want to run Hornet Strike on your Ocucor. However, we run it. We just add this for even more potency. Also on Saryn, we have a couple of shards. However, not all these shards are mandatory. Increase corrosive stack by 3. This is mandatory. We want to do more base damage so that our DOTs can have a higher proc. Toxic status effect deal 45% more damage. This is also mandatory. You don't need to, however, it is highly recommended. And then your 2 parkour velocities are flex. If you really want to, you can run more toxin status effects on these 2 slots as well. That would make your damage an incredibly high number. It is incredibly useless, but these are things you can do if you want more damage, you want quicker kills, all that kind of things. Now, on our Latron, here are our evolutions for the Incarnon. As for the build, we basically just run a bunch of crit chance and damage, crit damage, pretty self-explanatory. We run Blight because 1 shot from the Latron will activate almost up to 40 Blight. So you have full stacks for 142% more crit damage and 72% more multi-shot. We're running semi-rifle Grenade because we are running crit delay. This takes away fire rate. This cancels that out and gives us also 240% more damage. Running this for the more status chance, so we're proccing Puncture more often so we get the armor strip and more DPS. We're running this because we proc enough IPS to get the effects of this, as well as we are proccing Puncture and we are proccing Toxin because of Toxic Lash. We're running Split Chamber instead of Galvanized Chamber because we just want this for the Acolyte. We're running more multi-shot, more base damage. We're using Amalgam Serration over regular Serration because we want the sprint speed. As for the Praedos, a standard build, we do not use this for the build. We actually use this for speed. Here are the Incarnons. As for your Sentinel, you can run this. Basically, you just want negate, reinforced bond for the 60% more fire rate, and you want the synth mods. Sacrifice is beneficial, however, it's not needed. And for our weapon, we are just running a vigilante set, so we get 20% more crit hits on our Latron. We use this for the tenacious bond, 1.2 multiplier on our crit damage. And lastly, we have the Ocucor. Typically, I would run barrel diffusion. However, the Ocucor benefits from galvanized diffusion an extreme amount. We only want to mod for viral. This is because you only want to mod for viral because you are doing straight damage to the health. So viral will give you that 325% damage to that health. We run Fortifier because this is kind of a hard carry. I'll be like 110 with you. Secondary Fortifier is a hard carry in terms of survivability. We run Hornet Strike so that we don't need any conditionals and we can kill a level cap even if we don't hit headshots to proc Arcane Precision. Deep Freeze and Pathogen Rounds so that we mod for Viral. Sentient Surge, this is what makes the weapon good. We run Magnetic Might because we will be killing a load of Thrax and a load of enemies with Overgird, and Magnetic does 325% more damage to Overgird, and Lethal Torrent for the fire rate. And Multi-Shot, Ruinous Extension isn't needed. It has a 20 beam range without this. This is just quality of life. Now, in the event you are looking to get a Riven, you would want it to slot over Lethal Torrent or Hornet Strike, which means you want to have either these two stats or this one stat. I have one, however, you do not want the negative for ammo maximum, mag max. Ideally, you have minus zoom, minus impact, minus reload, things like that. Now, real quick, I'm going to explain to you why we don't use Sobek and we use Latron over the Sobek. We use Latron over the Sobek because respectfully, the Sobek is dog shit. There's no reason to be running the Sobek. The LOS on it is horrible. Half the time it doesn't proc. It is a 100% a simulacrum thing. It looks good when you get the procs, but if you don't get the procs, which is 90% of the time you don't, it just feels like ass. Okay, respectfully. In the event you do want to run it, show you the build. I'm not going to explain it. And then if you're running the Praedos like I am, this would be your Acolyte Killer instead of the Latron. This is the build you would run. Seismic Slam. It's basically just a slam build. You're going to run Nearest Anguish. Still gives you the parkour velocity, gives you a little bit more aim glide duration, but it also gives you a multiplicative of 100% damage to your slam. And in the event you do want to see the fashion I use for my Saryn, this is it. And in most of the videos, you will see me running this. I run this, but with green energy and green emissive. You can just change it to however you like. This is the Void Shell skin.